You know, I recently realized that there are no art apps that I can afford. So I had the brilliant idea to maybe just try and build my own. However, there were two distinct problems with that. Problem one, never made an app before, and problem two, I only had 5 days. This is what happened. Bit of transparency here. I do know how to code, I just haven't built an app before. I had to come up with an MVP, basically a minimum viable product.
Okay, we don't go too crazy. As of today, I don't know what's really possible.
So one, it would be cool if it had like lessons or something. Like maybe like I could maybe I could add the lessons myself.
It's effectively a revision tool where you go through and it's like lesson 1.
2, in the 5 days I spent being an artist, I thought that maybe I mainly just drew using like pencil and like paper, that kind of stuff. So it'd be cool if the app could like record that side of things. 3, it would be interesting if I could also maybe draw in the app. And the only reason I said that is because I came up with the name Draw It as the title, and it would be kind of redundant not to have the ability to draw it in the app. 4, I want the app to be usable like out and about. And 5, it had to look good. Like, don't know why I added the there, but
yeah, so that's kind of how I want to do it, where I basically can just structure my own sort of lesson. You walk through it, and then you can save each of the images, and then you can go back and look through the history of those images, and then...
That was it. That's all I wanted. Bing Bang Bush should be an easy pie. Okay. So on the first day, I was mainly just shopping around to see what I could use to build an app. I eventually just landed on Flutter because it just kind of looked good. I don't have a strong argument there. A good thing about it is that it allows you to deploy to multiple systems. So like with one set of code, I can essentially deploy to iOS, Apple, the web, that kind of stuff. And you could also deploy to embedded systems like smartwatches and things, which is brilliant because I own none of those.
Okay, so we got the demo page up and running. So now I just need to, I don't know, move on to, well, the rest of it, basically.
It also is something called hot reload. So say, for example, I have the app running on my phone. What's pretty cool is like you can essentially just change the code and then it updates on the phone like live. The next thing I needed was an API that my app could talk to, so that way it could receive information and also send information, you know, that kind of stuff.
We're gonna have lessons. Oh my god, my handwriting. You're gonna have an app where we get lessons from the cloud. Ignore the terrible wiring. Now these lessons are gonna be things like draw a box, right? I don't know if you've seen that tutorial. You then spend your time drawing the box, like over here. You're like, okay, right, gotta draw this box, here we go. Possibly in the app or just like this. And then you take your phone and either using the app, you take a picture, and then that picture then gets saved to this step of the lesson. And then from there, we move over and then maybe you save the progress in the cloud. And I don't know, like
Now perhaps you could be wondering, why not just build everything on the app itself, so that way it doesn't need an internet connection at all, like just do it all on the app. Well, technically, yes, I could do that, but that's boring. Stop being boring.
Well, maybe everything's gonna be doing in the app. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm using the cloud as an excuse because I want to practice with Go. Like, it's this programming language, and it's very good for like services and stuff. And so I wanted to, and this is their mascot. It's why I've suddenly put a random cute toy on the thing. But yeah, I wanted to practice using that. So it's like I'd have this talking to this, and then that's all we really need, honestly.
Most apps nowadays, basically, like the front end is just kind of dumb. It doesn't do anything, and it kind of just like connects to the internet and then pulls all the data down. And that's kind of why I wanted to practice with this anyway. But other than that, barely anything really happened on day one. I was literally just reading documentation and doing tutorials. That's about it.
Okay, so you probably can see here, but effectively I've, oh shoot, how do I, oh my god, that is such a slow zoom. So I now have a thing running. When I click this, wachoo! These are effectively going to be the lessons that are going to be sent back. and then it's just some like fake dummy data, and now we gotta try and put it over in here, because this hasn't changed at all. This is still the same app, and it's not doing anything. So yeah, let's see if I can get this talking to this, and then maybe have it show up.
But day 2 was all about essentially just trying to find a connection. My phone wouldn't talk to my computer wouldn't talk to the cloud, and the cloud wasn't talking to me, unless I paid.
You see, I've had to switch to an emulator because there's a little problem over here. Even though this is connected to this, they can't talk to each other because this is obviously running locally, and then this isn't local because it's over here. Even though it's pretty local. I mean, they're next to each other, but they're not local enough. They are connected, but they can't connect. I guess, whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna try and figure that out. It shouldn't be. It's probably something isn't too tricky. It's just one of those things where it's like, blah. I mean, technically speaking, I could just have an external server, host it somewhere, and then actually, I might do that. just to say. I mean, I'm gonna have to do that anyway when I eventually disconnect from this and I treat it like a real app.
I just wanted to set up the framework for automatically deploying this API onto the internet whenever I made any code changes, so that way it will just speed up what we were doing, because doing all that stuff manually is quite annoying. So getting that out the way first would be useful, because then we'd understand how much proper time we'd have until the eventual deadline. Other than that, it was just a bit of a frustrating day. There's only so many times you can look at the same connection failed error. But I got to play around with things like, Docker, GitHub Actions, renting digital space from an online landlord. And honestly, I was almost tempted to tussle with Kubernetes or something like that. But that kind of felt like using a rocket ship, building a rocket ship to jump a fence. Newsworthy.
Anyway, so I guess the idea is you're out and about. I don't know, maybe you see this drain, and you're like, I need to draw this. So, and then you go to the Draw It application. Boom. What's crazy is that it's working from all the way out here. I'm nowhere near my computer, as you can tell, and the server's working fine. It's drawing all this in. I mean, that's basically how the basic internet works. It's not that impressive, but at the same time, yes, it is. Oh, wow. Okay, the drain stinks. I gotta move from the drain. Just drawing on my phone is so cool. And then you push the button, send, and then it gets sent up there, and then you can see the history of what you were doing. Let's get out of here. No! Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Squirrel. I'm sorry, please.
With all that stuff out of the way, it was finally time to start building the app. But before jumping straight in, I decided to take some time to maybe plan out the navigation and maybe plan out the basic design of what it could look like.
So I was thinking maybe it starts off with this page. For me, you either click start or browse, and it leads to the other page with the lessons inside of it. So this would be a carousel with whatever lesson you want to do. So yeah, I guess this is the life cycle. Start at the beginning, you click browse or start, it goes over here with the lesson, with the gallery, you look down here where you can see all your history of the things that you've drawn, or you can start the lesson, and then it maybe shows you the instructions here, as well as the ability to start drawing, which opens this, which we probably don't have time for, and then we either just take a picture of what we have been drawing in real life, snap it, and then that eventually gets saved to the gallery, which you can go back and view here. So, not the perfect life cycle. You could literally have a gallery linking to here instead, so it links from here to here. That could work. This could link straight into the lesson, so they could all just be quite easy to do. And the only thing we're missing now is create. So we can create our own lesson if we want to. And we'll have to decide as we go, but I guess this is what we're dealing with right now. We do not have a lot of time. I think I'm just gonna make a skeleton crew of most of this stuff, and then see which one we can actually hook up back to the server and actually get the it's talking to each other and sending data and things like that.
But when I got started, it wasn't that bad. Flutter, it seemed quite easy to just sort of pick up. It kind of felt like just putting Legos down on a chalkboard. I mean, if you did that, they'd probably just fall off because the chalkboards are vertical. Pay attention, focus, Benji. But anyway, I very quickly got something that looked awful, but was quite functional.
Alright, so we actually got a bit further now. This is kind of what it's going to look like. Very minimalist. We head on over. It should load in the lessons. So that's loading in from the server. So we can see these different lessons. It says I'm going to draw a straight line. They're still basically exactly the same. But now what we want to do is we basically just want this lesson page to maybe have like the title, the description of what the lesson is, and then maybe there's like a tab where you can either draw on it or open up a camera, take a picture of it, and then it'll get saved to this specific lesson that you pulled down. So yeah, let's end that for now, I guess.
But anyway, what was important was just making sure all the bits and bobs were bobbing and the bit, and that's literally what I wrote here. All the bits and bobs. Let's just move on to day 4.
We now have fun little tabs, so that's fun. If we can find a way to draw onto the screen, that would be nice. We might have to like not do this part. Here is where I want to activate and turn on the camera so you can just like take a picture of your drawing instead.
Day 4. Sacrifices needed to be made. We were both over budget and over time. I mean, we had no budget all time, so that wasn't really hard. But this did mean we had to cut some functionality from the MVP, primarily creating new lessons. Now, to be honest, implementing the creation of new lessons wouldn't actually be that difficult, but I knew it would take away time from the other functionality I was more unsure of. You know, mainly things like getting the camera working and like uploading those images to the server, things like that. Also downloading the images too and showing them on the gallery.
But boom, check it out. Now we have a camera, so yeah, and then if I take a picture, then I'm gonna see the picture. So yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Now it's just about trying to save this picture to the lesson, so we have like a gallery of it, and that's might take a while because if you think about it, I gotta do this. I then have to send other stuff up there, change some APIs, do some database stuff, blah 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 blah, you know.
Now the way that we were building it is that each lesson would have its own gallery, which meant that each image that was uploaded needed to be associated with a lesson. This meant I effectively had to build my own database, which sounds complicated until you see it.
Ooh, I'm worried. If it breaks again, I'll just like not film any of this. Take the picture. Database is sitting pretty. So far there's no data in the database. We send it. There is now data in the database! Yes! This is perfect. But now if I go back, and then switch to a different lesson, I'm gonna like draw a nose or something. This is like a nose, right? Then we take another picture, and if we save, look at that. Very dramatic zoom. You see we have some images with this identification being saved with ID 3, and the other one with the previous identification being saved with ID 1, which means we can finally, after however long it's been, the whole point behind all of this is so that we can eventually go and check out our gallery and see the history of all the images we've done for this particular lesson. Yeah, I think we can get this done today, which is pretty awesome. This is never happening.
So secure, super secure. I mean, yeah, I could have used like an actual database solution, but like, you know, we were running on like no time here. I needed to cut some corners somewhere. Anyway.
Dawn of the final day. This is the bit where we've got to hand it in to teach, and they might be pissed because we didn't finish all the requirements. But let me just boot it up now. That's my camera. This is me. And oh, here we go. Okay, let's go. Enough talking. Let's get in there. All right.
So when we got to day 5, there was one big elephant still chilling in the room, and that was having the ability to draw on the app.
But what would be really awesome is if we could actually draw something here, then save it, and it's actually in the gallery as well. I've looked into this and it seems kind of possible, but I think we're gonna have to maybe have like the most basic of drawing possible. It's basically just gonna be like one color, that kind of stuff. We can't do anything too expensive. But yeah, other than that, once we get through that, we'll have most of it done, at least this MVP that we were putting together.
Now, the reason why I've been putting it off is because I thought that there was a widget or something I could use to just have it automatically, but the ones that I found, annoyingly enough, didn't actually work with my app. And there are some tutorials out there, but unfortunately the tutorials also didn't work for me, so I had to basically stitch a bunch of different tutorials together in order to basically get to the point where I could scribble on a screen. And that just sucked all the time I had left completely out of the room. And there was an error that felt almost unsolvable. The output image was just a black square because the color of the canvas was transparent, which translates into black. It was I couldn't tell that everything was working fine. To me, it's just like a huge error. But in the end, we got everything working, and it looks rather good, I might say. Dibby dam do bam boom. Let's go check it out in the real world. I don't know why I'm saying let's go. I've already filmed it, mate. Like, why am I speaking in tongues, man? Alright, so here we are outside the Tate Modern. There we go. So like imagine like, you know, you're out here for some reason, you're like, hey, I'm inspired by this completely locked and inaccessible art gallery, or maybe I'm late and I want to just, you know, figure out what I'm doing. Let me just go to my little app here. I want to practice doing the straight lines. I can read the instructions, be like, oh wow, that's very interesting, that's pretty cool. Then I go over here and with my left hand, I guess, I then go boop, 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 like wow, what amazing practice. And then I go down here and then I push the save button, and just like that, it's there in the gallery and all working through the internet. Let's say as another example, I wanna draw in real life. So I want to go back to maybe down here. This has Laura Nips in it because I didn't do anything here. But I want to take a picture. So I'm like, all right, I want to draw using like physical stuff instead. I need to go over here first. Hold up. Hang on. So in this case, we've already drawn something earlier, but let's pretend I drew this over the course of, I don't know, however long it's been. And I'm like, all right, that looks pretty cool. A camera looking at a camera. Let me take a picture of it. And just like that, we've stored it. And yeah, and then we can do that forever. But yeah, it all seems to be working fine. I'm not gonna do a second take of this. I'll draw a box for fun. All right. So it'd be like, one, this is really hard on my left hand. There we go. And then, oh wow, that's a beautiful little box. I should send that in. Uh-oh. Hold up. Did that just break on me? No, it's fine. Okay, we're fine. a bit of lag. We've got to fix that in post. Anyway, we'll see you later. So yeah, that was the end of our adventure, trying to get the ultimate art application, or at least one that is ultimate to me, because I doubt I'm going to make another one, and ultimate does mean final. Long story short, it was a bit tough, but I think we got most of what we wanted to get down. There are many areas that could be improved, such as, say for example, you're here, and you're like, I want to like draw this bridge, or I want to like, you know, draw like the cathedral or something like that. It would have been cool to have this, and then it's like you can just add a lesson up here and put your own lesson in, and then just start drawing with whatever tools you have. So that would have been pretty cool. Unfortunately, that didn't have time, but maybe that'll be for like a future release. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of cool. There's also some pigeons up there. They're just hanging out. I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out in the time that we had, considering I had no idea how to do it at the very beginning of this whole thing. But it does mean that maybe in future I might be able to build some other things and at least use these frameworks that I've got in order to like maybe just keep going with different stuff. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. I think the next one I'm going to be doing is going to either be about Rubik's Cube, or I might try and put together a small little game show with one of my friends, something like that. That could be kind of fun to try out. But yeah, if you'd like to see more, subscribe, and yeah, that's about it really. And enjoy the rest of your days. That sounded really dark. I'm sorry.
Head over to the app. Push the play button. Push the play button. Push the play button. Push the play button. Oh, push the play button. What we gonna do? What we gonna push the play button? Run it on app. Here we go. One play button. Never gonna down. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. And